Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got an interesting show set up for you. Yep, we're going to talk about Beamer ball. Rattler is basically being wasted, and Beamer thinks, I think he thinks everything's fine. We'll see, but Rattler needs some help. Yeah, Spencer Rattler is actually a pretty darn good player, and he's going to play on Sundays. He has absolutely been pummeled this year. The offensive line's not been able to protect him, and this is Shane Beamer's third year. So if you don't have a good offensive line, you can't blame the former administration, so to speak. That's all on you, Beamer, 100%. You've had 3 years to bring in some offensive linemen. I know you've had injuries. I get that. But your very first game against North Carolina, you gave up 9 sacks to Spencer Rattler, who threw for like 350 yards in that game, which was kind of amazing. And he is a dual threat. He's got legs on him, and he knows how to use them. And to get sacked 9 times is shocking.
9 times?
9 times.
And that's when you're going to be the most healthy in the entire year. So it's been kind of downhill ever since then. And it's been pretty unacceptable. We've listened to you complain about hot dogs, and you've broken your foot, kicking a Chester drawer or something, I don't know, acting a fool. And as far as Spencer Rattler's concerned, you know, he's ranked 4th in the SEC with very little protection. Over 70% he's thrown the ball. 11 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. But here's the key number. The guy's had 30 sacks against him. 30 sacks. That's unbelievable. Only Jalen Milroe has the same number. But Jalen Milroe's hurt, and Spencer Rattler's not. So it's just been very difficult. We played against him in Knoxville. We ran him out of his own end zone. We literally lived in the backfield. We were in the backfield every single play, just about. James Pierce and Tyler Barron, I mean, it was ridiculous. They were on first name basis with Spencer the whole game. So I'm not sure what's going to give with this guy. But let me show you one of the biggest problems at South Carolina. This is South Carolina's rushing, total offense rushing. They've got 656 yards. That's dead last in the SEC. That's behind Vanderbilt. That's behind every single team in the conference. They're averaging 2.96 yards. That's the lowest average other than Arkansas.
Check, please.
And they had a 75-yard rush against us. But they're averaging 93 yards a game, which is pitiful. And they had a great running back in Marshawn Lloyd, but they wouldn't pay him the proper NIL money, so he went to USC, and he's doing fine. He was a great running back. He kind of reminded me of the guy, Ray Davis, that went to Kentucky. Same thing, he left Vanderbilt for money. You've got to pay some of these players. You know, you can't just say, oh, well, we'll give you a scholarship and here's some money for food. That's not going to work, South Carolina. And there's plenty of rich folks in South Carolina that can pony up the dough. I don't understand why you're losing tight ends and running backs that you badly, badly need over NIL money. That doesn't make any sense. And the fact you're not getting running backs when there's tons of great recruits in South Carolina, which is a hotbed for offensive linemen, doesn't make any sense either. You should have offensive linemen. So as you look at their schedule, I think they've won 2 games. They beat Furman, and who else? They beat Mississippi State. They got rocked. Actually, you know, they gave Georgia a pretty good game. Spencer Rattler was like 15 for 15 in the first half against the #1 defense in the country. And then this was a heartbreaking. This was a backbreaker. Up 10 points in the fourth quarter and get beat by Florida. That was an absolute backbreaker. Then Missouri whooped up on you in Columbia. You're going to lose in College Station to Texas A&M. That's going to put you 2-6. 2 wins, 6 losses. Then you'll beat Jacksonville State. That'll make you 3-6. You'll beat Vanderbilt. That'll make you 4-6. You will not beat Kentucky, I don't believe. That'll make you 4-7, and you're not going to beat Clemson, so 4-8. So Beamer's going to go from 8-4 to 4-8. It's just going to flip it. Now, I don't think he's going to get fired this year. I think they'll keep him one more year since he had that nice finish last year. But they're going to demand a sacrifice of some sort.
Sacrifices have to be made, mister.
Yeah. An offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, somebody's going to have to be fired to bring in somebody else to just kind of calm everybody down. That's what typically happens, which means that Beamer's on his last year. He'll either get it turned around or he won't. I see no way that he's going to be able to do that because he's got one of the top quarterbacks in the country who's leaving, and he's going to bring in a lesser than quarterback. You're also going to lose, I'm sure, these wide receivers that are really good. You got 2 of them. And I don't see that offensive line just suddenly getting great, which it's going to have to be if you don't have a tremendous quarterback like Spencer Rattler. So I think you're definitely wasting his talents this year, and it's really a shame. The guy's a heck of a player. Hopefully he doesn't get hurt towards the end here because he's getting pummeled. Absolutely ripped every single game. And at some point he might shut it down. It just depends on how competitive he is. But I don't think you've got much behind him. So this could go south pretty well. It's already gone south. So I don't think that really matters at this point. But it's a shame to have such a good quarterback, and that's unfortunate. Anyway, you know, Shane's sort of odd behavior with the hot dog crap and the kicking the table and breaking your foot and all that. People are getting tired of that nonsense. That's not going to play out. You can't go 2-5 and get away with all that kind of stuff. And you're going to be 2-6 soon. And I guess you'll end up 4-8, something like that. But South Carolina folks aren't going to put up with that. And they deserve better. But I'll also say this: South Carolina needs to pony up some dough and get some NIL money going in there. Otherwise, you're just going to live in the basement, because you cannot let excellent players like Marshawn Lloyd and that tight end leave when they're already on your team. Give them some money. That's what you're going to have to do. Otherwise, you're just going to keep shuffling coaches through there all the time. And I know y'all are thinking I'm making fun of South Carolina. We have been there. I know what it's like to stink and have to constantly put in new coach after new coach. Jeremy Pruitt, Dooley, Butch Jones. Need I go on? So anyway, Lane Kiffin, Mr. Backstabber. Anyway, I just thought I would cover this because it really feels like an excellent quarterback's getting wasted. And the Shane Beamer nonsense is getting old. But here's the thing. He can fake a punt. He can fake a kick. You do have that going for you. That's a pretty big bonus. Anyway, if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's continue to cover the Vols and all the SEC and all that good stuff. If you've not subscribed, it's on your right, my left. Just hit this little button right here. I appreciate it. And right over here is the most recent video that YouTube thinks you'll enjoy. We'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.